Hello, and thank you for joining us for another segment presented by Budget, Books, and Brains, your trusted source for insightful discussions on personal finance. In today's episode, we will be discussing the topics on understanding your credit score. A credit score is a number that lenders use to help them decide whether or not to approve you for credit, like a credit card or a loan. And if they do, what interest rate to charge you. Think of it like a report card. A high score means you're a good credit risk, meaning that you're likely to pay back what you owe. And a low score means the opposite, that you're more likely to fall behind on payments. Lenders want to avoid lending money to people who can't pay it back, so they use credit scores to help them make decisions quickly. I'm here to tell you everything you need to know about credit scores. We'll cover what they are, why they're important, what makes a good one, and how you can improve yours. Let's dive in. Here's how it works. Credit bureaus collect information about your credit history from public records and credit reporting agencies. This includes things like whether or not you've paid your bills on time in the past and if you have any outstanding debts. They then use this information to calculate a credit score for you, which is a numerical representation of your creditworthiness. The most common credit scoring model is called FICO, which is short for Fair Isaac Corporation. It's what most lenders use to evaluate credit risk. FICO scores range from 300 to 850 with higher numbers indicating a lower risk of default. Once your credit score is established, it becomes part of your credit file, which is a collection of information about your credit history that is stored at one of the three major credit bureaus, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. Lenders can access your credit file when you apply for credit so they can get a sense of your creditworthiness. If your score is high, they're more likely to approve your application. But if it's low, you might be denied credit or only offered smaller amounts of credit at higher interest rates. So what exactly is a good credit score? Well, it depends on who you ask. Generally speaking, a score of 670 or higher is considered good and a score of 740 or higher is considered very good. However, different lenders have different standards. For example, getting a mortgage is going to be much more difficult than getting a credit card, so lenders will have different minimum credit score requirements. According to Experian, you'll generally need a score of at least 620 to qualify for most mortgages, though you'll probably need a score of at least 740 to get the best rates. On the flip side, a credit score below 580 is considered bad and can make it difficult to qualify for credit altogether. People with bad credit scores often have limited or no credit history, have missed payments, or have had bankruptcies or foreclosures in their recent past. There are also other negative items that can appear on your credit report, such as unpaid medical bills, late payments, collections, and charge-offs. All of these can hurt your credit score. Now let's talk about how credit scores work and what goes into calculating them. As I mentioned earlier, credit scores are calculated using a variety of factors, including your payment history, the amount of debt you have, the types of credit you have, and how much new credit you've recently applied for. Each of these factors is given a certain amount of weight when calculating your score, and the more of these factors that you meet, the higher your score is likely to be. Your payment history is the most important factor in your credit score. It makes up 35% of your score and includes things like whether or not you've made your payments on time and whether you've ever missed a payment. If you have a history of making payments on time, it shows lenders that you're responsible and that you can be trusted to repay debt. On the other hand, if you have a history of late or missed payments, it can be a red flag for lenders and it could cause them to think twice about extending credit to you. The amount of debt you have is the second most important factor in your credit score. It makes up 30% of your score and includes things like how much debt you have compared to your income and how much of your available credit you're reusing. Having a lot of debt can be a red flag for lenders because it shows that you may be overextended and that you may not be able to afford to repay your loans. On the other hand, having little debt can show lenders that you're responsible and that you can handle debt. The length of your credit history is the third most important factor in your credit score. It makes up 15% of your score and includes things like how long you've had credit and how long it's been since you've used certain accounts. Having a long credit history can show lenders that you have experience managing credit and that you know how to use it responsibly. On the other hand, having a short credit history can make it hard to qualify for credit because lenders may see you as a risky borrower if they do and have much information about your credit history. The fourth most important factor in your credit score is the types of credit you have. This includes things like credit cards, installment loans, and mortgage. Having a variety of credit can show lenders that you have experience with different types of credit and that you know how to manage them responsibly. On the other hand, only having one or two types of credit can make it look like you only have experience with a limited amount of credit. The fifth and final factor in your credit score is how much new credit you have recently applied for. This is called your credit utilization ratio, and it makes up 10% of your score. Applying for a lot of new credit in a short period of time can be a red flag for lenders because it can show that you are trying to borrow a lot of money all at once. On the other hand, having a low credit utilization ratio can show lenders that you're only using a small portion of the available credit and that you're not overextended. Now that you understand what goes into your credit score, let's talk about what you can do to increase it. First and foremost, always make your payments on time. That's the most important factor in your score, as we discussed earlier. You can set up automatic payments or reminders so that you never miss a payment. And if you do miss a payment, contact your lender right away and explain the situation. Most lenders are willing to work with you if you are having trouble making a payment. Another thing you can do to increase your score is to keep your credit utilization low. This is the percentage of your available credit that you're using. For example, if you have a credit card with a limit of $1,000 and you have a balance of, your credit utilization would be 20%. Keeping your credit utilization low shows lenders that you can handle your credit responsibilities. A good rule of thumb is to keep your credit utilization below 30%. You can also increase your score by keeping old accounts open. The length of your credit history is also an important factor in your score. So keeping old accounts open can help you maintain a long credit history. This doesn't mean you have to use these accounts. You can simply keep them in good standing by logging in and making small purchases every now and then. Finally, you can increase your score by applying for new credit sparingly. As we discussed earlier, applying for too much new credit can be a red flag for lenders. So only apply for credit when you really need it. And when you do apply for credit, make sure you're pre-approved before you apply officially. This way, you will not hurt your score by applying for credit that you are not likely to get approved for anyway. I hope this video was helpful and gave you a better understanding of credit scores. Remember, your credit score is a valuable tool that can help you get the best rates on credit. By following the tips above, you can help ensure that your score is in tip-top shape. Thanks for watching and check out our channel for more videos like this one.